Hello and welcome to Heart of a Trail Transplant Story. I'm Roger Anderson, your host and a transplantee. So hey, today my adventure is actually one I've been doing quite a bit of lately. Is I'm actually at a friend's house working, and so my studio for today is kind of a backdrop of, you can see my Gladiator in the back, and there's our little trailer back there. But today it's hauling tools and material. We're not camping in it. So I'll walk you in here and give you a slight tour. But helping friends out, it's one of the things that in my heart is dear. I enjoy doing it, and I love seeing the smile on people's faces when you can take a moment and help them out. Today's job is a bit on the tough side, and I've been up here before, and this is my friend's house back here, and I don't know if you can see here. I'll lower this down a little bit. You can see I put the gates in so that my friend Baxter back here, where is he? Okay. Hey, Bax, you want to say hi? Baxter's back there. Keep him in the yard, and so he doesn't get out. And I guess he got out the other day and went up the hill and visited a neighbor and was barking at them. But we got another gate at the other end. We've done some floor repair here already, and today it's a bathroom remodel. And she's getting rid of the shower and enlarging the master bath, and putting in a brand new tub that she's really, in fact, I'll show you down here. Is she's got this beautiful tub down here. You can see it's all boxed up. It's all black on the outside, and it's got that pretty white. And we'll be putting that in. But we had to remove a couple of walls, and I still got the plumbing to take care of. But what we have here turned out to be a lot more work. And I'm going to turn this around here, and so you can see a little bit. Oh my, that take a picture. Oh, maybe I can't turn it around while I'm recording. So turning around here, I'm going to, you see we torn out sheetrock. We've torn out a couple walls right here. There's a wall across here and a wall here. But down here on the floor, that's the tricky part. That floor is a mess. Leaking, and it was soft in places. So we are having to completely tear it all out, completely redo it. We're moving plumbing anyways. She's going to have that pretty tub going in the corner, new faucets, new, just whole new bathroom. And it's going to open it up quite a bit. Before, turn it around here so you can see, before, her bathroom was basically just this area right in here, a little tiny area, there was a shower here, toilet. If you sat on the toilet, unfortunately your knees pretty much hit the shower, and then under your feet was the heat register. So we're going to move that forward too, get all this done, and she'll have a nice bathroom in her new house. And but you know what? It's doing things for other people. That's an adventure that can happen anytime, and it can be pretty interesting. I'm always having fun trying to figure out how to do stuff. And the neat thing is I'm going to be up here in beautiful Coquille for 5 days, and actually on Saturday, on Sabbath, I'm going to actually see what mischief I can get into, and just jump in the Jeep and probably find a path somewhere, a trail or something, or a beach, and find another beach or a river. Who knows? But we need to take the opportunities to do things for people. It not only uplifts them, but it uplifts our own hearts. And this week I was having a conversation with some friends, and out at softball, and we were talking about different things. And one of the people there at softball had not known I had a heart transplant. They were kind of giving me a bad time, and because I'm going to be 64 here in November, and so we were joking, and they were talking about, oh, you youngsters, and I said, hey, I'm older than you are. He happens to be 67, and he goes, no, you're not. You're younger than I am. And I said, oh, but you got to remember, I'm going to be 64, but my heart spent 41 years in another body, in a completely different life. So it has its own 41 years. Well, 64 and 41, hey, that makes 105. So, I'm 105. So you give me a break. But it's just having fun, talking about the different things. And, they were asking me a bunch of questions about my heart transplant and my journey. And, I had mentioned it before, the 18 years I had a pacemaker, and the different struggles with pacemakers and sometimes and different things. And he was asking me because his wife just was told she's going to have a pacemaker put in. And so we talked about it, and it was good. It's amazing how those things can change your life. But people are like, oh, you're cured. Heart transplant. Everybody's like, oh, you're cured. And it's like, well, no. Unfortunately, I just had an infection, antidepressants. And I was explaining to him that, understand that these type of things aren't cures. They are just like any other medicine. It's like, they help, but they're not a cure. People still have struggles. There's still things going on. Medication. Every time they change my medication, it can really mess up my system. Can make you feel lethargic. It can make you feel bad until your body gets used to it. And then, I was on one medication early on, and it made me so lethargic that I just didn't want to do anything. My wife got concerned because she'd come home and she'd ask me what I was watching. I couldn't tell her. But that was the results of the medication. Well, plus the heart not doing good. And so, when people have these things, I hope you'll remember that, it's not the cure. It makes you better. And it can be a lot of different ways, but whether it's getting a pacemaker, the underlying problem's still there. The pacemaker just basically masks that. And I told him that. I had a pacemaker for about 2 years when my heart went back into what's called bigeminy, which every other heart's a PVC. That's when the atrial beats without the ventricle beats without the atrial. So on the bump of a heartbeat, there's only a bump, and it's the second one, so there's no blood in the ventricle to pump out. And I had a pacemaker going on. I was still having those problems pretty severely. In fact, that was one of the first times they talked about heart transplant. Actually, I think it was the second time they talked about heart transplant. But they finally got me out of that. They figured out the settings, and the pacemaker needed to be adjusted. Then eventually had to have the pacemaker replaced, and so then it was back in, and they were like, oh, we should have put 2 wires in the first time, but we only put 1, so now we're going to put a second one in. Then they came back, and on my third pacemaker, they had to go submuscular with it because I kept on getting caught and turned, and I kind of wrecked the pocket. Coaching girls basketball. Yeah. And then my fourth pacemaker, they decided to put a defibrillator, and they were back in there adding another wire to handle the defibrillator part of it. So, even though you have those things, it's not a cure. you can still have more problems getting used to them. It's interesting, since I've had my pacemakers removed because of the transplant. I've ended up having 2 more surgeries on that area. One, they left in a piece of plastic. It's called a suture sleeve, where the wires for the pacemaker run through to keep them in place. Well, they left one in. It had come loose, and it started floating up and starting to come out. So they had to go in and remove that. And then a little while later, they developed a lump in there, and it was hard, kind of roundish. Couldn't figure it out. Finally, we're like, okay, we're just going to have to go in and see what it is. And they went in, and it was a hard, we're not sure what tissue that formed, and it was kind of sharp, and it was moving around, and it had some sharp edges, and it was scraping up, and it was painful. So, again, yeah, the pacemaker's gone, but still having residual. So, those are the kinds of things that people don't realize. And we're actually having this discussion this last week with a whole bunch of friends of mine out at softball. And I told them, I said, hey, understand is, especially, you go through days where it just hurts. We went to a football game when my wife was back in college, and it was 20 degrees in Corvallis for the football game. We were out there at it, and finally had to leave because my pacemaker was cold and it hurt. Never thought I would say, me put on another layer, fine, but my pacemaker got so cold it actually hurt in that area. So those things happen. So hopefully you'll remember is helping people, but also encouraging and understanding that, just because you're gotten a pacemaker, gotten a heart transplant, or gone through the cancer, and maybe you have a clean bill of health, but you still got to be careful, and they still can have side effects and problems. So I'm going to have to get back to work. So I just want to tell you, thank you for joining me today. And hopefully here real soon. In fact, I've been taking little short videos, and I've been working on starting to put them together to edit. And hopefully here before too much longer, I'll be able to put those together and out and show you actually some of the adventures, the drive here through the beautiful mountains, coming over from I-5 over here towards the coast, and some of that, and the clips from us taking jaunts up. I'll get up and talk, but I try to videotape along the way and all the neat stuff, and I'm looking forward to being able to add those to there and getting that finally figured out. So you guys have a wonderful day, and just remember, what adventure is your heart telling you should go on? Whether it's, hey, coming over and helping a friend, whether it's finding a mountain, the top of a mountain somewhere, or maybe a beach, ocean, river, lake, camping, finding a spot, go camping. Hey, I got some friends that are headed to Hawaii. Just adventures. Have fun. Make every day an adventure, because when you make every day an adventure, hey, your life is never dull. God bless. I'll talk to you later. Bye.